Welcome back. So following on from the last video, it's now time to actually just bake out the normal map. This is the last thing that we have to bake out in this particular project. So let's get to it. So baking out the normal map is a little bit different than baking out all the other maps. Let's go back to solid mode. Let's unisolate everything. Now what we want to do is select all our high poly objects. Then select our low poly object. We want to again create an image texture in here. We'll clear this and create a new image, and we're going to call this barrel low normal bake. Now the reason I'm putting normal bake is because I'm not actually going to use this map. I'm going to use a map baked in Substance Painter. But for the time being, I want to show you that it is possible to do in Blender. So with that selected, let's choose that from here. Now over here in the bake channel, instead of diffuse, we want to choose normal. And we have a few options here. Now, we have some intersection here, so I can't really keep these settings at default. If I was to keep the settings at default, the normal map that would come out would have a lot of artifacts anywhere where there's an intersection. So what I want to do is put a cage on this and just increase this to probably about 1.5, 1.6 or so. So we'll keep that at 1.5 just now, and then I'll just click bake. Okay, so that bake is now complete, and you can see that we have some artifacts on that, and it's also very pixelated. It's not great quality. So let's just take this and plug it in. So we need to do a vector normal map, and the vector normal map, as you hopefully already know from previous lessons, converts a colour into a normal that you can then plug into the bump map. With this barrel selected, let's go to an isolated mode and go to rendered mode, and you can now see that we have the normal details from our high poly object. We also have them kind of layered with the height map that we've baked out, and this pretty much finishes the object. So if this was the effect you wanted, that's fine, that you're ready to go. If you have access to Substance Painter though, I would definitely recommend doing the following. So I've saved out that normal map there. Now what I want to do is just double check that everything is lining up as perfectly as possible. So I'm going to go back to solid mode. The high poly is already exported out, but the low poly I need to re-export. So let's go to File, Export FBX, Selected Object, Barrel Low, Export. Now I'm going to open up Substance Painter. This just takes a moment to open up. Now essentially what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the high poly and the low poly in Substance Painter to actually bake out an even better quality normal map. I'm just going to hit new. I'm going to select my low poly barrel. Let's take this to OpenGL. Document resolution, we'll go with 2K I think to get an even better quality version. So here's our low poly barrel. Let's click Bake Mesh Maps. I'm going to turn off everything except normal. We'll do output size. You know what, let's actually stick with a 1K so you can see the difference between the 1K map from Substance and the 1K map from Blender. Let's select our high. And all the other settings here are fine, we can leave them where they are. This is just default. This shows you how easy it is to bake a really good normal map. One thing I might do is I might change this anti-aliasing to maybe 2.2 or 2x2 and just bake this out. So this will just take a moment, and you can see how fast that was. It was actually incredibly fast. And you can see this is what the normal map looks like on this low poly version. It is much better and it looked in Blender. It's still very pixelated. I mean, if you see this from a distance, it's going to look pretty good. Now, what I could do is I could go into Bake Mesh Maps again, bump that up to 2K, and in fact, let's even change this subsurface, this subsampling to 4.4 and bake that again. It's going to take a bit longer this time because of the extra anti-aliasing and the fact that the texture is pretty much 4 times the size. There we go, that bake is now finished. Now, in order to export this out so we can use it in Blender, what we have to do is go down into our properties panel and let's just type in normal and then find that texture. So here it is here, normal map. If we right click on that, we have the option to export resource. I'm just going to click on that. We can now find that. And I'm just going to call this, well, actually it renames it automatically, so I just have to make sure it's in the right folder. So I'll just select that. Let's just jump back over to Blender. What I'll do here is actually open up another UV image editor next to this one. And we'll just go in and we'll open this up. So this is normal map from Mesh Material. A little bit of a strange name. We'll click on this. So this is the one we baked in Blender, and this is the one we bake from Substance Painter. You can see there's much more detail in it. See the absolute difference between the normal maps here, much better quality. So let's shut this one down for the moment. We can actually just get rid of the UV image editor altogether. Let's go into our normal map. So we want to change the name of this. We've already opened that up, so it should be in here. Normal map from Mesh Material. Plug this in. Again, we'll go down into our render view. Click on render. And now we've got a much better normal map on this. You can see much more detail in there. Again, you may want to tweak the strength in here. Maybe take this to about 0.5. And you can see that that's working a lot better than before. So this model is ready to put into our new scene. And we'll follow up that in the next video.